Hey there, this is the Shallow Ranger. I apologize for my voice, I'm a little bit sick. But I just wanted to make a quick video, talk about a couple of wrestling topics. First one, this is a little odd one. I want you to take a listen to something. This is Madison Rayne's theme music. Have a listen. Does that theme music make anyone else feel nostalgic? It does to me for some reason. I listen to that theme and I just have it just causes me to have memories of childhood. I remember being at one of my old houses and playing Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo with my cousins and stuff, and riding my bike as a kid. I don't know why, but Madison Rayne's theme music makes me feel nostalgic. And I'm just wondering if it does to anybody else. Alright, so a couple of topics here. Samoa Joe has re-signed with TNA. Dixie Carter put out the tweet yesterday about him re-signing, and I was happy to hear that. She said, quote, "Proud to report the re-signing of Samoa Joe. I feel good knowing that I have a focused and determined Samoan on my side. Congrats to us both." And in response, I made the picture that you're looking at now. I heard some people kind of talking smack about this, saying they didn't want him to re-sign, but they wish he would left TNA and did something different. But let's really look at his options. Okay, say he didn't re-sign with TNA. Option, let's see, WWE. I don't really think that WWE and Samoa Joe are a good fit right now. I think when you think about how you want to see Samoa Joe used and how you want to see his character portrayed on TV, does it really fit into WWE? I mean, could you imagine him on SmackDown? I really can't imagine Samoa Joe being on the same show as Hornswoggle and the Swagger Soaring Eagle. Plus, WWE has been releasing some people recently to cut costs, and their roster's pretty full right now. That brings me back to what I mentioned in a previous video about a week or so ago. There's so much wrestling talent, so much good talent, and just so few well-paying promotions for them to work at. So, plus you gotta think about the question of what's best for Joe and his family. Joe is married. He has a young child that's about maybe 2 or 3 years old, and with the WWE contract comes a WWE schedule. Not everybody wants to be on the road for 300 days a year. I wouldn't. I mean, if I were a wrestler, I couldn't see myself joining WWE. I don't want that schedule and workload. He has a wife, a very young child, and maybe spending time with his wife and kid is very important to him, and he doesn't want to be on the road that much. Some people may bring up Ring of Honor, but I doubt they're going to pay him as much as TNA is paying him. If Ring of Honor was going to pay him what TNA does, he probably would have never left Ring of Honor, or he'd have gone back long ago. I heard some people say he could go to Japan, but again, spending a lot of time away from his wife and child. He could work the Indies, but is he going to make as much money on the Indies? Plus, it's kind of unfamiliar with him. He'd be working with lots of different guys that he doesn't know. There's a risk of him getting injured by some rookie. Got to deal with a lot of different promoters. I don't know. I think maybe right now TNA is best for him. You got to think about what kind of schedule he wants. I wonder, how much money does it take to start a wrestling promotion? Jeff Jarrett started TNA back in 2002. And I think I remember him saying something like he had $1 million. He said, what do you do with $1 million? Start a wrestling company. I don't know. But as much hate as I've heard him get from other people in the business, of people that just hate TNA, I wonder how come no one else has tried to start a promotion to compete with TNA. Since they all say that the business needs competition, but they all talk smack about the one guy who's had the guts to even start a new promotion and try to be competition. I mean, would it really be as hard as I'm thinking? I mean, there's plenty. I've established in a previous video. There's plenty of good talent out there available. You get some, and all these people claim they have the know-how to run a wrestling company better than Dixie Carter and Jeff Jarrett have been running TNA. You know, you get together a roster. If you have a good product, you just got to present it to some investors. And I wonder if finding an investor would be as hard as people will say it is. I don't know. But if anyone knows what it takes to start up a wrestling promotion, let me know. Just so I know I'm not just talking out my ass on this one. But again, you know, for all the people who talks in the business who talk smack about Jeff Jarrett, no one started up a company to try to put him out of business. Who finances Ring of Honor, for that matter? Anyone know that? Do they have like a rich investors or what? Someone let me know. I'm not gonna do a prediction or review for the TLC pay-per-view because there's really nothing on the card that has me interested, except for one thing: the Divas table match, Beth Phoenix and Natalya versus Lay Cool. There's been a rumor going around this week that the reason WWE is doing this match is as a response to the cage match that TNA did with Mickie James versus Tara. I don't know if this is true, and I'm not going to speculate, but I will say that I hope it is true. I hope that the reason WWE is doing this is because they saw that cage match and saw that TNA's women did something really, really good, and that they want to do something to beat it. And I hope that the tables match is good, and that TNA sees it and says, alright, we want to respond with something even better. It's, you know, everyone knows competition makes the business better. And I'm a fan of women's wrestling, and if you're a fan of women's wrestling like I am, then you would hope that this is true. Myself, the people at Diva Dirt, all us women's wrestling fans, we're hoping that this story is true. That WWE wanted to do doing this because they want to top the cage match TNA did, and we're hoping that that TNA comes back and tries to top whatever WWE does with this tables match. I'm a fan of tag team wrestling too, and I hope that Beer Money and the Guns put on another great match, and WWE wants to tries to put on something to respond to that too. Competition is good. Competition, we've seen that competition makes the wrestling business better. It makes for a better television product, and even if it's just one or two division, even if it's just the women's division and just the tag division where there's competition going, that'll just make those two divisions a whole lot better. That's about it for this video. Those are just one or two topics I wanted to mention. I was going to talk about IWC hypocrisy more, but I've done enough of those videos, and I'd rather focus a whole video as I point out more IWC hypocrisy. I just wish companies and wrestlers would challenge the IWC more and call them out on their hypocrisy more. You know, 2 weeks ago, SmackDown did a match of Hornswoggle versus the Swagger Soaring Eagle, and I saw that match, and my thought was, wow, this is on SmackDown, and yet TNA is the one that gets bashed all the time. I would have loved if Dixie Carter had put out a tweet about that match. If she would have put out a tweet that said something like, a midget fights a guy in a bird suit, and yet my show gets bashed. That would have been hilarious. I just wish they would call people out on it some more. You know, I just once I love for Dixie Carter to respond. Like, if somebody goes on Twitter, one of these dudes to come on and say, man, you know, your writing sucks, I could write the show better. Just once I love for Dixie to respond to one of those guys and say, alright, do it. Let's see what you got. Write me up 6 months of television and pay-per-views and post it online for us all to read. That's just something personal. I just wish she would call people out more. But let me go ahead and end this video before I get to rambling more than I already am. This is the Shadow Ranger. Thanks for listening. Follow me on Twitter, TJSmith3. And if you like the video, subscribe. Tell your friends about it. I need to get more viewers. Have a nice day.